Michael Sean right here, sitting in for Robert Scoble for Building 43. And you know, Michael Arrington gets on Scoble a lot for being addicted to social media. So who do we reach out? Who's the excellent expert on this? Well, it's none other than Dr. Drew Pinsky, who's here today at the 140 conference. Dr. Drew, is there such thing as an addiction to social media?
There's process addiction. Most of it includes sort of interacting with real people in sort of an idealized way, pornography, all that kind of stuff, where people are able to dissociate and disconnect from their reality, frankly. I don't know that Twitter provides that kind of an environment per se, but there is such a thing as process addiction for sure.
You deal a lot with celebrities, dealing with celebritydom. But yet, when we look at how many people follow you on Twitter and how many people watch you on Larry King or when you sit in or your own show or the radio shows, you've become quite the celebrity. Who helps the doctor?
Years and years of therapy, for one thing. Yeah, I mean, I listen. Whether it's medical services, because I'm an internist by training, I don't tend to use those quite as readily as I do mental health services, which I use them like crazy, both for my family, my kids, my wife. We need them, we take them, and that's, you know, I've had tons of support over the years, believe me, and especially with the work I do with dealing with drug addicts and traumatized people. You've got to have some place to clear the mechanism, as it were.
So your practice requires that you stay in close contact with not only your staff but also your clients. So how are you using technology in your practice?
You know, other than having, you know, I live in so many different worlds. Technology more helps me integrate what I do. In my practice, I'm going to be mandated to have paperless environments soon enough, so that's certainly going to take over there. I work, you know, through lots of text messaging in my, you know, with the Bob Forrest and the Shelleys of the world, that sort of thing, and Sasha. But more than that, it's about interfacing with the other aspects of my life. And I run different, you know, I run a production company, I do productions, and there's a lot of other things going on in my day. My day's like a jigsaw puzzle, and if I didn't have all these technologies, I don't think I could hold it all together.
So talk about your use with Twitter, because you've got a large audience that now you can communicate with directly, and there's a way to monitor what they're actually thinking and what they're saying in the background.
I guess so. They seem to be more responding. Well, I don't know that I get to see the crosstalk so much with Twitter, because if somebody wants to, I have to really, on my tweet deck, create a column for not just at Dr. Drew, but Dr. Drew, to see if they're, I don't do that. So I hear more what they're saying right back to me. I don't know what we're doing at Twitter. That's the whole point of this panel is, you know, I think we'll each have different ideas about what we're doing. I tell you this, I didn't anticipate having 1 million people sitting there. Now I feel responsible to them, and I feel like I've got to provide them something every day, and just something. Otherwise, I feel like I've let them down in some way. So it's a really interesting, another responsibility to add to my day. On the other hand, I've seen some amazing things happen on Twitter. I was sitting there twittering with Dax Holtz the moment the Michael Jackson story came in, and we discussed it, and people saw the discussion. We actually broke it, and it exploded. I mean, that was ground zero, and we within 10 minutes really had broken the story. It was interesting to see the criticism people gave us for not being able to verify, and how dare we suggest, you know, have such outrageous rumors circulating. But the fact is, it's a fairly reliable intercourse to be providing information. It's way ahead of traditional media. It made traditional media look ridiculous. Traditional media should be monitoring what we're doing on Twitter more, because that's where the real stories are breaking. And the other thing was the political energy that these environments can provide. During the Iranian uprising, there was a tremendous amount of political upswell and sharing of ideas, and that was a fascinating moment. I feel like we'll see more of things like that. I mean, I don't know what it's going to do politically, whether it'll create political movements. The No Hate campaign is another one that's had a real good presence on Twitter. I don't, you know, it gets the word out, it gets a nidus of support. I don't know if it's going to change anything, but that's what's fascinating about this. It may.
So we know what happens when somebody goes into an isolation. I mean, like Michael Jackson, he was removed from anybody else that could have, like, said, you know, hey, something's going on here.
Yeah, but you need only follow. There's a few other nefarious isolators up there that are twittering away right now. I mean, they're filling up my page, in fact. I'm not sure Twitter's the answer for an isolator. I'm just saying that's a pseudo relationship that never was meant to replace a flesh relationship.
Dr. Drew, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.